Casa de Satanas. Where do we even begin?
I don't know.
If you're looking for it, I don't know if it's in there.
Where did it all go?
I don't know where you put it.
Oh, sad day. Why would you not tell me this before now?
Not everything's my fault.
Sad day.
Anyways, so this haunt, I don't know that I would necessarily.
Yes, it's a haunted house. It says so. It's in the title.
Yes. So this experience was very unique. I every single fucking time we do one of these, I always feel like I know what I'm going to expect, or I know what I'm going to see, and then I just never. I'm wrong every time.
What's your timestamp?
I'm wrong every time. 45 minutes, 20. I'd say 45 minutes, 20 seconds is about where we were there. I think that's the thing that I love about this genre of haunts so much. This extreme horror side of things is the unexpected. Every one of them is so fucking different than the last one.
That's the best part.
And you just don't know what you're going to experience, what you're going to see.
That's a part of the scare.
And part of it is trying to get into that mental mind frame before you walk in. I think back to Stag, a cult. Okay, so it's going to be culty, and I'm going to get myself ready for a cult experience, and then it wasn't at all. My asthma, I don't know what the fuck I thought it was going to be, and I still don't know what the fuck happened, so I'm just going to move on.
And then it doesn't help your nerves to know where you are and to know where the state of the world is right now either.
Yeah.
So
at the Shock Theater, blind date, I had no clue what I was going to experience. I thought maybe I had some ideas, and Lord, I could not have been more wrong about what was going to be up there waiting on us.
Oh my God, that was crazy
and
fun.
It's the same story.
It was like the exact opposite of what we thought was
here we are again, doing another one of these. Thought I had an idea of what I was going to experience. I was kind of right. I knew it was going to be kind of droidy, which we'll explain that a little bit here in a minute. I knew it was going to have kind of that play to it, but it was immensely different than what I thought it was going to be, and it was a lot of fun. There was some stuff in it that I wasn't stoked about, and we're going to talk about that a little bit. We're going to not go into super detail with this. We have to tread lightly through these areas.
This is a different area, and it has been a few years since we've been able to present these to you guys. So for anybody that is new to watching anything to do with us doing an immersive side of things, though we are not scoring this, and we still have a obligation to what we do and to the creators and to the creative mindset of the taboo world that is the extreme immersive, that you have to kind of be a part of it to understand it completely. So there's a certain amount of allure that has to be left to the imagination, and you just have to go and experience it if it is something for you.
Yeah. Any of these times that we're talking about an extreme haunt, we don't need to tell you that it's physical, because it is. They're all physical.
Not all of them. We have done a couple one at least, that was not physical, and it was a immersive haunt. It was not an extreme immersive haunt.
So, but anytime we're talking about an extreme haunt, they are physical, and that's the case here as well. You're going to get roughed up. You're going to get tossing around a little bit.
And the difference between what this is and what some other things are that are not tolerable in the community puts it as there is a storyline derivative based off of what is happening, not just whimsical nonsense.
Yeah, not just torture for the sake of torture, obviously, although torture isn't part of it. It's a physical experience. You know, it's going to be rougher than any traditional haunted house you go to if you choose to jump into one of these. And that is the experience you're looking for. That's what you want. You want to feel that type of experience and feel that type of way. And this one certainly does bring it, especially in the start of the haunt. I do feel that it kind of took a little bit of a slope downward on the physicality level the further into the haunt you got.
Yes,
it certainly started off very intense.
You got that whammy to the face to begin with, and then it went on from there.
Yes. So one of the things they're trying to get you to do right off the start
we have to start from the beginning here.
Okay.
The waiting area itself gives you such a false sense of security going into this, because it's a very friendly, fun environment. And then as you're waiting and start looking around, you're like, okay. Just the different facades and the different elements that are decorating the area that are unique, and it just gives you more of a thrill in what it is you may possibly be doing.
And I will say, as far as the beginning, I thought this haunt had the coolest entrance for any haunt that I've gone through this year. Now, I do need to say we went on a extra intense night, so our experience was a little longer than what the experience was the previous few days, and we got to experience.
And we got to do it together.
A few more things that
we don't ever get to do these together.
That you wouldn't have got to experience on the more tamer nights. So that was pretty cool. We always go for the most intense version of whatever haunt we're going to, no matter what it is.
We do.
It just doesn't matter. There's never a question about it. If there's an extra intense night, that's the night that we're going. And we always welcome and encourage haunted attractions that if you know us and you know we're coming, we always welcome your worst.
We're here.
It does not bother us in the least, and we love it. We love it. And I know there's some psychos that watch us sometimes, and that's fine. Do what you want to do with that information. But I thought the entrance to this haunt was absolutely amazing, and I would like to see more haunts, not just extreme haunts, but haunts in general. Think about the entrance to your haunt, man, because it was cool as shit. When they told me in the lobby how we were getting into this bad boy, I looked at Trish and said,
"This is where I die."
All right, cool. Let's do it. A very, very cool entrance to the haunt. And I want to tell you about it, but I don't, because I want you to go experience it.
Well, and the initial storyline that was given to us once we actually were in the haunt, we loved the storyline and the direction it was going, and it was super in your face from the get-go. Made you want to giggle and made you a little leery at the same time, and I like that dynamic of a feeling. I just wish I felt that storyline through the entire event.
Well, I think about that first room and the intensity that was brought there, getting chained up against the wall and the different stuff that was happening. I can say we got chained. There's a picture of us chained against the wall.
It's dark.
Okay.
It's darked out.
But, that type of, and what they were doing at the time, they're trying to get you to give up your phone. And I'm not going to get into it. I don't like what was happening if you gave up your phone. I'm just going to say this one time and move on from it.
Yes.
I completely disagree with what was happening there, and certainly not my cup of tea, and I'm very, very glad I didn't give up my phone. And to be honest with you, if that had happened, I would have been highly upset. If what was happening, if you gave up your phone, happened to me personally, and that's all that I'm going to say about that, and move right along. But that's what they're trying to do. They're trying to get you to give up your phone, and if you choose not to, which was Trish and I's decision, you're going to face some consequences for it, and I love that.
I'm certain there probably would have been more consequences.
I bet you got consequences either
right,
way.
Yeah.
Whether you gave your phone up or not.
You definitely got consequences if you gave your phone up.
Well, yes, but not the type that I was hoping for on that particular evening. But I love that. I love being forced with choices. And I love being able to make choices.
I do too.
Especially in an experience like this. I think it's critical to be able to have and feel like you are in control of the direction of this narrative somewhat. And that was an empowering experience, because the punishment that we were going through for it was intense. It was the most physical part of the haunt, for sure, was that area, and telling them no. And it's scary.
The most physical, the most scary for me, no.
Now, I will say, because I
have a certain phobia. And my certain phobia, I've only had it experienced to a certain degree in 2 places. They got me in this one to a point where I was like taking a little long. But that was it.
I saw this with you. I've done enough haunts with you, and I know you well enough to know when fear is setting into her a little bit, and she had a moment of fear when it was with the phone. She looked at me for a second with a look, and I just saw it. The thought was crossing her mind for maybe just a split second to let it go. And I said, don't you dare. Don't you dare give up that phone. And she didn't. And I love stuff like that. That is empowering. That makes you feel even closer as a couple. It makes you feel like you are in control of things, and that you can still.
He was so sweet. We've never got to do these before. There's several different times. He was so sweet during this one.
Yeah. I was a nice guy. I was a nice guy for the most part. So I really liked it. I will say there was one area in this phone area that I thought was personally a little unsafe. And safety is always a concern. We are trusting these people to take care of us and to make sure that we're never put into an actual environment that could cause genuine physical harm or genuine physical pain. I mean, you're going to experience a little bit of pain from time to time, but it's nothing crazy.
Bruising.
Yeah, you know, we've walked away from many of these with with some bumps and bruises, which is to be expected. That's what you're looking for.
I mean, you're being tousled around. You know that.
But, you know, there was one area in particular that at least the way that you got into this pit, I felt was really unsafe.
Well, I felt like more than anything, it was more the way you had to get back out because of the circumstance of what was going on with yourself.
Well, without saying what exactly happened, you come out of the pit, at least on the intense night, a little wet. Certainly wetter than what you went into the pit as. And it's
not very safeguarded for the wet.
Yeah, I think that there could be a little bit of a better design put into place with that. And the pit itself felt a little rocky, to say the least, at times. It certainly was out of all the spots that I've ever been in an extreme.
I just wanted somebody to pass me the lotion already so I could put it on my skin.
That was the only time that I've ever kind of been like, I don't feel that this area has been attended to the way it should have been. But again, small
the task that you have while you're in that area, and we can't get into it.
So disgusting.
My goodness. Goodness. So just so much. Oh my God, it was so much, guys. It was so much for 2 people.
Eat, but we had to eat.
It was just so much for 2 people.
We had to eat. Stop smacking my hand. I'm going to talk about it.
No.
Now, after that, you get more into the story. The story, without giving away too much, basically, androids are taking over people like her because people like her will not open their holes enough on command. So, that's what we're looking for here. We're looking for replacements for females so that, you know, open holes on demand. And it's a really, really cool story. It's very funny.
It's fun.
It's a lot of fun. But
there's moments in it I'm like, oh my God, yeah, that's real life, right?
I think I would have rather seen a little bit more of the first 2 scenes, a little bit more of that vibe through the rest of the haunt. Because to me personally, it felt like the haunt got, I don't want to say silly, but it definitely took a more funny, and it certainly took a way more sexual turn.
It took a very disorienting turn, is the way that they were trying to present things towards the backside of it. And although I do like to see the aspect of disorientation going through, it muddied the storyline a little bit for me with it. And I love that initial storyline so well.
Yeah, I love it. I love, you know,
for the first half of it.
Man, when I think of an extreme haunt, you know, I don't mean to just keep beating this horse of what my asthma was, but man, it was so extreme the whole way through.
It was.
And I haven't felt that experience anywhere else. And I love that type, man. I love that rough and tough environment. And it was really killer through the start of it. And not that the back of it wasn't cool. I just would have loved to have seen it stick more to that extreme side of things and that extra intense side of things that, you know, you're looking for in a place like this. I loved one scene in particular with one actress that was playing a droid. She did an incredible job really diagramming what social media was.
She seriously freaks the fuck out and goes into social media overload. And that's all I can tell you about that. But it was gorgeous. It was beautiful. It was perfectly well done. You got swatted in the process. It was great. I loved it.
Yep.
It was a beautiful scene. It depicted social media and how it fucks with your brain and stuff so perfectly, and I just very much enjoyed it.
Yeah, absolutely. I couldn't agree more. I really, really enjoyed the experience. I would definitely go and check them out again. I'm hopeful that they are doing something next time we're in the Chicago area, which will be sometime next year. We'll try and kind of plan our trip around it, see what happens. Wait for our good friends over at the Extreme Haunt group page, which if you're ever interested in everything to do with extreme haunts, I highly suggest going over there and joining that group. Even if you're just a quiet mouse on the wall that just listens and sees. It gives you
a little bit of an idea of what it is we're talking about without necessarily having to jump straight into the deep end.
And it's the best place, in my humble opinion, to stay up to date on what extreme haunts are out there and what's going on. That's where we pay attention to it a lot. We have some other avenues, obviously, that we use as well. But that's one that we just ourselves watch a good bit just to see what is or is not going on in the extreme haunt world.
Now, unfortunately, I do have to mention, though, that I did end up at a MedExpress visit after. So.
Had a little small shoulder injury.
Just a little bit. Just a little bit.
But
nothing crazy. Nothing crazy. But it did happen.
But had an absolutely awesome experience.
It was an amazing time.
Really, really enjoyed it. And I can't recommend enough that people get involved in these extreme haunts.
Yes.
And do your information, do your research, know what you're getting into, but go for it. Go for it. You're either going to love it, you're going to hate it, and you're never going to do it again, and that's perfectly fine. But you have to at least, in my opinion, man, if you like haunted attractions and you want to take that next step, I can't recommend it enough. I really can't. It's such a fun experience.
Go dip your toe in and check it out.
Yeah, absolutely.
But know what you're capable of. Know at least somewhat what your limitations are before you go and attempt some of these things.
And feel free to reach out to people. Feel free to reach out to people.
There's a whole community. If you approach them like you have a brain, that will be more than glad to talk to you.
Join the Extreme Haunt Facebook group. Join the Extreme Haunt Facebook group. It's a wonderful community.
Please have a brain.
Like-minded individuals. Just don't be a dumbass. And you can absolutely find out all you want to know about extreme haunts. Find out when they're coming to you in an area that might hopefully be somewhat close to you. We always have to drive hours for these sons of bitches. But we love doing it. There goes the microphone.
He got excited. It's fine.
I did. And all of that other fun jazz, man. I really, really recommend checking these things out. I love them to death.
It just gives you a sense of empowerment, a sense of wonder to see it unfold, to experience like what the actual storyline is. And sometimes even to understand the storyline is more of an epiphany, aha moment at the end of it, even more so than the experience that you just had, because that's what imprints in your brain moving forward, because that's when you're like, it all makes sense now.
Yep, absolutely.
And that is the allure for me of it, is because there are bodily knee-jerk reactions to certain stimulus that you're more than capable of toning down or eradicating altogether if you work toward it. And this allows you to understand that.
Yeah. So again, wonderful job, man. That concludes 2022. That's it. It's over. It's done with. We got Wells.